What's up, everyone? Howler here, coach of your Delta Gleigers. Today I'm bringing you the Week 3 battle for the Pack Low Tier League. We're going up against Sharpedo Rider and his Savannah Sharpedos. You can see his team on the right side of the screen. I am particularly excited for this game, mainly because of the two NFE Pokemon you see on your screen, and we will get into those. And just how well this season has started off, I think makes me even more excited to play with this team and try to pick up some more big wins and maybe try to rattle off my most successful season ever. Obviously, that it would not be the most successful season ever if we don't have the same level of success in playoffs. Of course, that is the goal. But for now, we are just trying to rack up the wins with this awesome team that we have right here. So, first thing you may notice looking at Sharpedo Rider's team, I'm just going to call him Rider because, that could very well be his name. You never know. Rider does not have, never mind a grounded poison, he does not have a poison type on his team. So, enter Whirlipede. Perfect time to bring Whirlipede as a toxic spikes setter as well. On top of that, the hazard removal is not very good. It's just defog Flygon. If Flygon wants to come as defog, it is much less of a threat to my team. So we'll see if he does that. And then the other option is Rapid Spin Hitmonchan, for which we have a spin blocker in our Cursula. So, we're going to see if we can lean with this and get off as many hazards as we can. Potentially Endeavor something down very low. We are Focus Sash, so we should live any hit that he wants to go for unless he's like Specs Flamethrower Manectric and gets a burn on me to break the Focus Sash or whatnot. But even then, we should still get a layer of hazards up. The Sableye shows up, I'll be slightly annoyed because that could have, that is a good candidate to have Taunt, which could prevent me from getting my hazards up early in the game. So, Sableye lead against me, I may have to, I will have to switch out. I'm not staying in because I literally could not touch the Sableye if it taunts me. So, I think I would be going hard out into Entei in that scenario, just to try to get, just so I can click Sacred Fire. This is week 3, and I have yet to click Sacred Fire with Entei, which is the whole reason why we drafted this team is around the idea of Sacred Fire Entei. So, yes, this is basically the only viable Whirlipede set in my opinion. So, it's a good opportunity to bring it this week. So, this Cursula is max defense. This is one of those weeks where Cursula's abilities kind of bite you in the ass. Neither one is really desirable here. If you're bringing a Fizz Def Mon, you really don't want to be weak armor so that your Fizz Def is lowered when you eat a physical attack. So, it has to be Perish Body, and if that means that a Hitmonchan makes contact with me by hitting me with like Throat Chop or Ice Punch or something, and I'm forced to switch out in 3 turns, so be it. It's better than it lowering my defense so I cannot do the job that I am designed to do, which is block spin and hex everything in sight. Yes, he has a type null. If he brings the type null, I can't touch it with hex, but we have a way around that, as you will see. Sableye, being his dark type, is also part ghost, so it gets hit neutrally by Hex. It is not a switch in. And then Ice Beam is our other attacking move because we can OHKO the Flygon. Strength Sap is good to keep us healthy, and then why not even more hazards? Set up Stealth Rocks if the opportunity presents itself. That way we actually get some chip on the Flygon because the Flygon will not be affected by our spikes because of its levitate ability. Next up is Duraludon. Duraludon is not a safety blanket Pokemon this week, it is a legitimate offensive threat. Flash Cannon, dual stabs with Draco Meteor, Dark Pulse is really good because it hits his Steel type super effectively. And yeah, so we don't just have to rely on like Body Press to be hitting Steel types for super effective damage. Dark Pulse also hits one other thing on his team, I want to say, for super effective damage. Yes, Trevenant. Cool. But I think Draco Meteor would hit that even harder. So Dark Pulse is just there for the... mainly there for the Metagross, and then Body Press as the last move because we are Assault Vest. The reason we are Assault Vest is so that we could be a switch into Galvantula. Now, on the topic of Galvantula, I built this team in a way that does not pressure me to get rid of Sticky Webs. If I take a speed drop on Duraludon, it's not the end of the world. I'm not outspeeding his Flygon anyway. I invested to outspeed max speed Adamant Metagross. If I don't outspeed the Metagross, then that's okay. And then Assault Vest, we resist all of Galvantula's attacks. Modest Specs Thunder is never a 2-hit KO against this Duraludon. Yeah, and then the speed investment plus, and then the rest in the special attack. This, I know I said I didn't want to bring Boots Entei, but here it is. We will never take a speed drop from Sticky Web if he goes that route. We will never take Rocks damage, although the only Rock setter is Metagross, and if you're bringing Rocks Metagross in when that's one of your main offensive threats, then I don't know how I feel about that, but it's definitely an option. Basically, the same moveset as Week 1, just the 4 main attacks that you would use with Entei. Iron Head is there for Clefairy. If Clefairy starts to get annoying and, Iron Head hits a little bit harder than Sacred Fire and has a flinch chance. So, if we get that flinch chance, then we could... and it had more PP than Sacred Fire, too. Yeah, and then Stone Edge is basically just there for the Walrein, if I really need to get rid of it. Walrein, even though it is... as a water type that's part ice, it still actually resists Sacred Fire because it has Thick Fat. So that's probably the best switch in to Entei that he has, is Thick Fat Walrein. If we get a burn on it though, then his Body Press damage will be reduced if he's running that at all. And I feel like Cursula should be bulky enough to take special water hits / ice hits from the Walrein if necessary. Yeah, so we are running speed on this for Jolly Metagross, not Adamant. So yeah, the Flygon will outspeed us, but if Flygon's non-boosting on him, we should be able to survive an Earthquake from it if need be. If we've put it in range for extreme speed, that's also really good. So yeah. Next is our workaround to the Type Null. So if Type Null does not show up, this Rotom Fan is very expendable to me. I don't really feel like I need it for a whole lot. I'll use it as a pivot early game so I can preserve the HP on some of my other Mons. But if the Type Null does show up, that is a phenomenal switch into the Cursula, obviously. So how do we hit Type Null with Cursula? We make it so that it's no longer immune to Ghost type attacks. So we trick it a ring target. In the process, we get rid of its Violite, so we make it even less bulkier than it already is. And yeah, that's what Rotom Fan is here to do. We can also outspeed. We're actually a little faster on this Rotom. We're a little faster than the Entei, so we are speed creeping max speed Hitmonchan. So that we can always outspeed that thing and Volt Switch out against it just for chip. Scout what kind of set he is, if he's Assault Vest or if he's maybe Life Orb, a little more offensive, we'll see, based on the damage. Foul Play is here because it hits Metagross super effectively and so that we're not set up fodder for Flygon. And then Air Slash and Volt Switch. Pretty self-explanatory. Last but not least is the Porygon. Upon further review, it seems like I should have named this Windows Vista instead of Windows XP, so if I bring this to another battle in the future, we can fix that. But So we've got both E-tier Mons coming to the Week 3 game. I think that's super cool. The reason this was not just so that I could say I brought both E-tiers to a game. It's actually the best Mon for the role that I needed in this last slot. Needed a Phys-Def Mon that I can switch into physical attackers such as Flygon, Metagross. Okay, so Gastrodon is good against Flygon because it can soak up attack, go for Ice Beam against the Flygon. It gets ground coverage for the Metagross, but it's not good against the Trevenant because Trevenant can just come in, Corn Leech, and recover all of the HP from Gastrodon. Whimsicott is super good against Flygon because it resists or is immune to its dual stab, but Flygon does get dual Wing Beat, and I invite in Metagross very easily with Whimsicott. Porygon, on the other hand, has Trace, so it can come in on the Flygon, trace Flygon's Levitate, be immune to its Earthquake. It can also trace Manectric's Lightning Rod, so because we're not bringing our ground type in Gastrodon, we actually still have an electric immunity, assuming that he is Lightning Rod on the Manectric. We can switch that in, and it shouldn't be doing that much damage to us with its non-stab attacks. And this is also immune to Ghost-type moves from Trevenant, so we can pivot it in on that thing. Foul Play and Ice Beam, hitting that thing super effective, hitting the Metagross super effective. Ice Beam is not quite as strong as it would be from Gastrodon or from a Whimsicott Stab. Well, I say that's Whimsicott Stab Moonblast, but Ice Beam is 4 times super effective. So I think it could actually be doing more than Moonblast, but Ice Beam is not a guaranteed KO on the Flygon, but it will definitely put it in range for a Entei Extreme Speed, assuming he's not Yache Berry. And then Recover and Teleport for the pivoting. Did not have the move slot room to put Trick Room on here for the Cursula, but I don't think that Cursula needs to be outspeeding things in order to do its job of just blocking spin and dealing tons of damage and staying on the field for as long as it needs to. So yeah, that's going to be our team. I'm super excited to get this battle started. Hope you're excited to see the battle, and yeah, I'll be right back with it. Here we go, about to start the battle against Ryder. There's a reason why I'll avoid saying the Sharpedo part of his name, because I've dealt with some Sharpedos before that aren't quite as pleasant as this Ryder. Anyways, I hope to not see Sableye because I just want my Toxic Spikes up. I don't want there to be any complications. Okay, no Sableye, cool. So I think this is a pretty good team on his part. I feel like Gastrodon could have been a better brain than... I don't know, it's tough to say. Because Trevenant didn't show up, Gastrodon seems like a much better brain. But that's one less thing that he has to, like, super threaten Cursula. So Toxic Spikes are good against 2/3 of his team. I should be, I'll just get this over with so I can write down his team in the rest of my time. So he didn't bring the Walrein actually, so he doesn't have a Sacred Fire resist. Which makes me think he's gonna lead Flygon. Because Flygon really would be the only thing that threatens me out. That threatens Entei out. And if he goes for a Dragon Dance right away, then I have to switch into the Porygon. Click done. Here we go. No Walrein. No Trevenant. No Galvantula. and one other mon that I can't think of. That sounds like Manectric. Okay, I'm cool with that. Hopefully you don't, Whirlipede sprite looks cool. Hopefully you don't, what's it called, burn me. Now this would be a good thing to Endeavor, because if I can pick it off with Anti-Extreme Speed, then that's one less thing that outspeeds me that I have to worry about. I'm assuming I'll outspeed Hitmonchan. Yeah, there's the Flamethrower. So this should bring us down to our Sash, and hopefully it does not burn, because then we can Endeavor on the next turn. Oh my god, I spoke it into existence. Fuck, fucking hell. God damn it, man. Why? I would have protected and outsped on the next turn. Oh yeah, Sableye was the other mon that didn't show up. And then got the Endeavor off. That's annoying as hell. So, what should I do here? I kind of like the idea of going into Duraludon and clicking Draco. Because I don't need this to switch into Galvantula. So I'll take the hit with... if he like stays in, if he specs. I kind of think that he specs. I'm just going to click Draco here, I think. See what he wants to do. He brings in the Hitmonchan, then I block, then I go directly into the Cursula. Protect, so he's not specs. So I could predict Metagross to come in now and go for a Dark Pulse. I kind of want to do that, to be honest. Now that you've seen what I want to go for, because like you could think I'm Scarfed. You could think I'm now choiced into Draco. And I think because you're not Specs, I should definitely live 2 hits from this Manectric. So if I don't kill on turn 1 with the Dark Pulse, which I wouldn't, then I'm not too worried about that. Actually, the type Null's going to come in and get poisoned. Okay. So I can keep this at full HP, which is good. And go... Nope, I don't want to fight. I'm going to go out into Rotom so I can try to trick this. This doesn't get... No, this doesn't get Defog. Only Silvally gets Defog. So we'll see what you want to do. If you do turn out, fine by me. If you do turn out into Manectric, I will bring in Porygon. Double, okay. Punch Buddy is Hitmonchan. Okay, we outspeed this. We outspeed this and left here Scarfed, which I think is highly doubtful, so I can get some Volt Switch chip on you. Again, if you go into Manectric, fine. And we go, that looks like Assault Vest to me. We go directly into Cursula to block Spin. If he goes for Spin, I can set Rocks. Yep, okay, so I'm at full HP, so I can get my Rocks up for additional hazards. Oh, yeah, Rocks is fine. I could also go for a Hex, but okay, does go for a Throat Chop, and Perish Body will activate. This is why we brought Pulver, so that we could survive, so that we could survive 2 Throat Chops. So Perish is activated. If he stays in and goes for another Throat Chop, that's fine because I should get back up to full HP. I'll get up to full HP regardless of what he goes into here, and then I'll switch out on the next turn. Yeah, so I think he could have Ice Punch for Rotom. Dune the movie. Ah, okay. Interesting here. So I just lowered his attack. I could go for... because my perish count should only be at 2. So I... oh. So if I do this and get the KO, Cursula's perish count will be down to... I think I'm okay going for Ice Beam here. The only reason why I wouldn't... oh, he switched! Okay. Went back out, it went out into the type null. Okay, now I have to switch out into Rotom for sure. Now he knows that I have Ice Beam as well. If this thing doesn't go for a rest, then he's going to be in trouble. Hard switch again. Treble Clef is Clefable. This will get poisoned. I'm going for Volt Switch again. I actually think that I could have gone for Trick there to scout what he wants to do, because I actually don't think that Type Null can come back in on Rocks plus Poison. So I don't really think I need it to have Ring Target anymore. I may be wrong, but it's either Entei or Duraludon here. And I'm gonna go Duraludon because for me Duraludon is more expendable than Entei right now. So if he goes for like a Thunder Wave here, interesting, Heal Bell. Okay, but that's not a long-term solution because the spikes are still an issue for him. So I would think that he wants to switch out. He could go into the Hitmonchan. So Hitmonchan is definitely Assault Vest. It's still going to take Rocks and Poison. I think it might be below half. Body Press probably does the most to it. Let's go for a Body Press. Yeah, because he's going to switch out into the Type Null, actually. So this is dead. Yeah. Actually, it looks like he would have survived one more tick of poison, but if he took damage from anything on my team, then he would have gone down. So the only way he could have got a rest off was if I had like Cursula in and did not go for Ice Beam. But Type Null is gone, so I don't have to. So there's no switch in to Hex anymore. And out comes the Metagross. Okay, so what I don't want to do is activate Weakness Policy. So the best play is to go into Rotom and then Volt Switch into Porygon. So I can, if I Volt Switch, then I should put it in range for Foul Play. Yep, there's the Agility. So proccing Weakness Policy is not something that I want to do. I can live Adamant. Life Orb Earthquake with Entei. If that's what he is, but I assume based on the way he brought that in, he's actually Weakness Policy. He's going to switch out, okay. Because he probably doesn't want to get burned. So this gets poisoned, but he is probably Magic Guard, so I don't think it matters. Now I can go into Entei. Because I don't risk getting Thunder Wave because I get this in on a clean switch. And I think I'm cool. I think I'm okay going for... let's just go for Sacred Fire. Let's just go for Sacred Fire. We gotta click it, man! We gotta click Sacred Fire! Big damage! Almost a KO. Actually, Ironhead would have KO'd there. And he's gonna get Rocks up, which isn't the worst thing in the world because we are still Boots. We're still Boots Entei. So if we had gone for Ironhead there, we would have prevented Rocks from being up on our side. That's less than ideal, but it's not the end of the world. I should just go for the more accurate attack here to ensure this thing dies. There we go. There's a KO for Entei. Beautiful. So Flygon remains. Hitmonchan remains. Doing the movie is going to be the Flygon. So because it's taken two rounds of rocks, it should be in range for Porygon Ice Beam. And if he goes for Earthquake here, we copy his Levitate and we're immune to it. We're immune to the Earthquake. We'll see what he wants to go for here. Dragon Dance, okay. That's fine. We're max physically defensive. We should be able to take any hit from this thing. I'm not sure if it gets like superpower. But I don't have a Dragon Resist, so we could go for Outrage here. And maybe an Outrage crit could be really scary. But I hope that I should survive even an Outrage crit. Unless he's like Life Orb or something. And if this doesn't kill, then I just go into Entei and pick it off with extreme speed. This would have to be quite invested to not die to Ice Beam. He's gonna switch out, actually. Go into Punch Buddy the Hitmonchan. So he'll take the Toxic, and... question is, do I really care? So he could predict my Cursula to come in. I think I'm okay with that, honestly. He could predict my Cursula to come in, or I could go into Rotom. See, the thing is the rocks are nice though. The other thing I could do is, assuming that he doesn't go for Rapid Spin, predicting Cursula, I could go into Rotom and KO with Volt Switch and keep Cursula healthy. Nah. I don't need to do that. I don't know if this is the best play. I think he's gonna go Throat Chop here. Yeah, he did. 147 down to 65. That is a 2-hit KO. I don't I don't have to let this die. I could go into Rotom now. Kind of want to do that. I don't have to let Cursula go down just yet. Yeah, I wish I had just stuck with my gut and gone into Rotom. Oh, I actually take rocks though. That's annoying. Didn't think about that. That's fine though. We can at least keep Cursula around. I think I don't really care what he goes into. I foul play the Flygon, I Volt Switch the Metagross, and okay, Flygon comes out. So I can preserve. I can preserve the. Yeah, that was a dumb play on my part. I should have just gone into Rotom, stuck with my gut. Cause him. What? Okay. Goes out into the Manectric. That's free damage on Manectric. I will take it. And I don't need to save this Rotom for anything right now. I could actually. Well, this thing. Yeah, no. There's no point in. There's no point in saving this. I just click foul play until I die. Goes for the Thunderbolt. This probably will kill me. Actually, no, it won't. That's good. More free damage. All the free damage. So even after this tick of Toxic, he'll probably live one more. But then I just go into... Entei and pick it off with Extreme Speed. What I could have done there... Actually, Porygon could have just soloed this endgame. If I had gone Porygon there. But if he's actually... But, yeah, I probably could have saved Rotom there, but it is what it is. Extreme Speed, kill this. Please don't be static. Don't be static and paralyze me. You already burned my goddamn Whirlipede. This thing should be dead. And then all that's left will be the Flygon and the Metagross. I take Earthquake from Flygon. I do not think Flygon clicks Earthquake against me because I have shown that I am Traced Porygon and that's my default switch in. I've shown Ice Beam. Okay, he's gonna let this go down. Cool. And he does not paralyze me. So I can comfortably leave this in against Flygon. It's just a matter of whether I want to... Okay, that's what he's going to bring out now. I could also sack Cursula here, which I think is the play. Because then I preserve this for Metagross. If he goes for DD, I threaten. Yeah, if he goes for DD, I threaten with Ice Beam. He can have his KO. I I just didn't need to take needless damage on Porygon here. I will go for Strength Sap is the play here, because if he keeps boosting up, then I'll get back up to full, but he will just knock me out. If he had gone for sub there, actually, that would have been a really bad play on my part to... Yeah, so, man, if I should have just gone for Entei on the Clefairy. I totally forgot that Clefairy was a potential rocker. Yeah, because these rocks being up are kind of annoying. Like, they're not the end of the world, but oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. Well, here we are, back on Showdown again after a very unfortunate disconnect. The last time this happened, it was BBL Week 7 because I didn't have my computer plugged in, so it was entirely my fault. This time, just kind of a freak accident. Well, not just a freak thing that happened. It wasn't my fault. I swear I had my computer plugged in this time. Anyways, we don't have our full teams here. It was pretty easy to recreate the match on Showdown. We didn't have to bring our full teams, just what was still around, plus the rock setters, so we could get the proper amount of chip off against the respective members of our team. So why don't we just have this little prelude? We'll lead with our rockers, throw our rocks up, and this Clef probably shouldn't have been able to set rocks at all. That's probably the biggest misplay that I made in this match, is just not going for the Iron Head against this thing, because of course it would have done the most damage to it. Instead, I went for Sacred Fire because I just wanted to click Sacred Fire, and this Clef survived on about maybe 5%, and that extra 10 base power from going for the Iron Head could have definitely made a difference. As you see, we're just doing a lot of switching around to get the rocks damage on each other's team. I actually think I let Flygon get away with only coming in on rocks 3 times instead of, I think it took 4 ticks of rocks instead of 3 in the actual match, but that is what it is. It didn't really matter at this point. It had taken all the chip that I needed to feel safe that I could KO it. Anyways, here we go. It's Porygon's time to shine, alright? This was the plan all along. I sacked Cursula just so that I didn't let Porygon take any needless damage. I probably didn't need to do that, but I did it anyway because I had let Cursula take the Throat Chop from Hitmonchan. It wasn't going to be helpful to me at the amount of HP that it was at, so I just let it go down. I definitely think that I should have gone Rotom on the Hitmonchan, because I shouldn't have been so worried about Hitmonchan spinning away my hazards at that point in the game. As you can see, the only things that he has left now are the Flygon and the Metagross, none of which get toxicked by the toxic spikes, and also they're both only taking 6% from the rocks. So the chip is minuscule. They don't get poisoned. I mean, the poison was kind of nice on the Manectric, but it wasn't super necessary. We were able to just... Actually, yeah, we were able to just... we did get some extra chip damage on the Manectric because we were able to survive a Thunderbolt. And if we had come in on the Throat Chop from Hitmonchan, we wouldn't have been able to survive. But I could have just gone into the Porygon, traced the assumed Lightning Rod, and been able to just clean up the game with Porygon, potentially. So I definitely could have, if I was trying to, I could have played for a 5-0 in this game, because I wouldn't have let Cursula die. If I just put more faith in Porygon to get me a 5-0, then I maybe could have done it. But in the end, I played as safe as possible. Cursula and Rotom, they weren't absolutely necessary. The Porygon is absolutely necessary to beat these final two mons, prevent them from sweeping me. So I played as safe as possible, and we'll see how this turns out here. Of course, I will trace the Levitate so he cannot Earthquake me. He's just going to switch out like he has so many times in this match. He has switched out a lot after he has gone for the setup move. So I'll get 10% off against his Metagross. I don't want to go for Foul Play just yet because it's not going to kill. The Foul Play, I know for a fact it's not going to kill. It's going to do maximum like 70%. And that's depending on the spread, so I don't even want to go for it at this range. I see Meteor Mash. I was worried about maybe he might have Power Up Punch or something. So I know at some point when he's clicking Meteor Mash, he's going to boost his attack. And when he does boost his attack, then I'm going to go for Foul Play because I know once he gets that attack boost, that Foul Play is going to be strong enough to KO the Metagross. So we do that, and it appears as if this Flygon's best move to hit me is Rock Slide. He goes for the Rock Slide, does not get the flinch, and Ice Beam and knock him out for a 3-0 victory. Now, if he had Outrage there, that could have been potentially scary because I assume from that range, Outrage would have KO'd my Porygon 2. Not my Porygon 2, my Porygon 1. How about that? And because he got the Meteor Mash boost on a turn that I did not go for Recover, that put me in range for where the Flygon could come in and knock me out with an Outrage if he had that. And then at that point, I would have been relying on Duraludon hitting Draco Meteor. So if I miss Draco Meteor, there is a small chance that I lose the game if he did have Outrage. But because he didn't, and he just had Rock Slide, I think I might have even been able to survive another Rock Slide if I did get flinched there, because currently I'm at 15% and the Rock Slide only did 13% to me there. So yeah, GG's to Sharpedo. I think he played a pretty good game overall. And we're going to move to 3-0 plus 14. Oh, that Discord thing. I wish I had Discord on Do Not Disturb, but that's going to be part of the recording. So, yep, 3-0 plus 14, first place in the league. There are only 4 weeks left before playoffs, so I'm hoping that we can win at least 3 more games. I feel like if we win at least 3 of the next 4 games, we should be guaranteed a bye to the semifinals. So next week, we are facing off against Rhino and the Delaware Dittos. If you're looking forward to that match, be sure to leave a like on this video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel to keep up with all of our Draft League content. We'll see you next week for another low-tier match.